Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the most miserable day weather-wise what I can remember in recent history.
Yeah.
I did say weather-wise though, because although it might be miserable out there, it's not going to be miserable in here, is it? We're doing wedge distances today. So one thing that we spoke about briefly recently is that we're saying that one thing that's costing you from shooting the really low scores now is just dialing in on them approach shots, isn't it?
Yeah, the approaches.
110 yard and in.
Yeah.
Let's look to get some distances nailed. Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, yeah. Right, so we have a Mr. Piers Tavernet, we have a GC quad, we have my iPad. We're going to start with some full pitching wedges, get some distances, and then we're going to work backwards. Are we saying, would you like to add 3 distances for each club or 2 distances?
Let's start with 2.
Yeah, and then see if we can add like a half swing in as well. So if we get a full and a 3/4 for everything.
Full and a half, either.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, let's see, if we're going down that route, let's see which one you strike best. So usually it might be a case that I think with the element of a bit more speed, you might strike it better.
Yeah.
So if we can get half and 3/4 then.
Weather consistent as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So let's have a look at what those numbers say. So first and foremost, average carry 118. I know you think it's more like up to 130. I think on your best strikes we saw a 125, 124, 126, 127. That's probably more like it, isn't it? We have the slight factor of the variation in golf balls, which could lead to you striking some good and it not going as far. If we were to do this ideally, I think we'd hit some here and then we'd go back in the net and consolidate it with proper golf balls, the ones that you would use. I'm happy to say that about 125 carry is your number for your pitching wedge, and I think with current ground conditions that's rolling out to 130 quite easily, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
One thing that's a little bit scary for me, could in part be due to the golf balls, could in part be due to some things we'll look at today. Your shortest went 107, your longest went 127. I'd hate to see 20 yards worth of difference in between.
And that's where I failed.
Yeah, yeah. One thing that I'll show you guys at home as well is that we have got a little bit of variation from left to right. I know these first couple of shots here, Piers were getting warmed up so they're a little bit shorter. Bunching now is tending to be carrying more about the 120 mark, but we have seen a little bit of left and right dispersion as well. So noticing slight pushes to the right. When I've done stuff like this before, I think you need to start really zoning in on getting that aim as precise as possible now, because you deliver it really straight. So there's no variation and you ain't got any crazy deliveries. It's just a case of, I think, if you're being a little bit slack with your setup, that's what's causing you just to miss target a little bit. So one thing I do, a little tip and trick, pick an intermediate target, you know, in between golf ball and where you want it to finish, something about 4, 5, 6 inches in front, and really be anal when you're trying to make sure that you're starting that golf ball on the top of it. So I can start it straight and keep it straight now. Because you've got no variation, because you're a nice straight golf ball hitter. I'm going to get a shirt printed up that says that. Piers having a nice golf ball hitter. This is it. So we just need to get as precise as possible now. It just, like, there's a bit of brain farting going up, isn't there? We just need some precision now. And I'm going to be on it, yeah? If you're not hitting it straight, I'm going to be on it, you now.
Not sitting up properly.
Pick your intermediate target then. And I will say, get your club aligned to it, get your body parallel to it, and feel as though you start it over it. That first board being your target, yeah?
Yeah.
Got you, like that. Just a little pull. So come a step back again. Perfect. Perfect. Was your start line that second time just a little further right than before?
No, further left.
Were it?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's an inch, but the ball's in probably a different place.
Got you. Cool.
But like you said, perhaps laziness.
I think
I
so.
would put the ball down, it's there or thereabouts. And
You get very quick in your pre-shot routine for me sometimes as well. You very much just up and hit it. Yeah. Just a bit more deliberation with these, because like it's fine margins now, isn't it? You can't be rushing around a golf course expecting to shoot 71, can you?
If you started off 2 or 3 millimetres wrong here, when you've hit it 110 yards, that's suddenly...
It's 7-8 yard?
Yeah.
Easily. That's the margins that we're dealing with now, isn't it? So, task for this next batch of shots, I've set up an alignment stick that is bang on our target line. If we're thinking about controlling start direction, I want you to try and hit that target line now, which is in the form of that alignment stick. That's what I meant to say. I messed that up again there. We just made a slight alteration to our new practice station, so we've still got alignment rod in to help us with start lines, but now we've got club down to ensure that body is aligned correctly. One thing we just said off camera, we're trying to eliminate as many little silly mistakes as possible. With something like this, you've got to try and get in robot mode, haven't you? Got to keep as many things constant as possible, and he's just hit 2 banners in a row, that's why he's got monk on. That's better. I'll just leave camera running if you keep hitting shots like that. Feel better after that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done a good bit of work there on those start lines. Seen dispersion narrow a little bit there. One thing we're going to do now is we're going to incorporate a 3/4 half swing. So we're going to get some distances. We're happy that it's 125 carry, with potential to hit it 130, 135 depending on weather conditions, yeah? Something you always have to veto in that. I think the furthest you could hit your pitching wedge, if ground conditions dictate, would be 140 for me. Because I'm more than confident you can carry on 130 if you absolutely stripe it and you get 10 yard bounce, yeah. So in this part now, I want you to devise your own swing length that you think is repeatable. And then we're just going to have a look to see what distances that generates. I'm going to see how often you can repeat that distance, yeah. My thoughts and feelings with this kind of thing, some people use a clock face as an idea. I always used to like a percentage system, yeah. So I have a 75% and a 50% swing. That's it. So you'll get to a position that you feel comfortable repeating. It's kind of got to make sense in the grand scheme of things as well. So, you know, if like you feel it's a 75% swing and we've got 125 with your full ones, it's almost got to be like 100 round about that number. Right, so wedge distance is sorted. We worked out that the length of swing to go for mathematically perfectly was 72%, weren't it?
Yeah.
We're not saying it's a 3/4 swing, so we're saying it's a 72% swing now. I'll put on screen for you guys, the distances that we got. I've sent these to you on WhatsApp just now, so we've got them. I thought that was a really good productive session, that.
Interesting.
We did some start line work to start with, and I think that really brought your dispersions in, which were good. And then we just messed around with a couple of swing length ideas, settled on one that you were happy repeating, and then from that we're able to have now 2 different distances with each club style.
Yeah.
So we honed this in now with a bit of good practice.
Yeah, practice.
Yeah, and then start naming them distances. We are going to, in future, use quad for these sessions because we came up with a game that I think we both quite like near end, where we're hitting shots and we're guessing distance as it's in the air, and I thought it's a good means of practice, that, isn't it? So, super. Enjoyed that. Well good, that, wasn't it? Well done. I won't mention what happened halfway through lesson as well. There was a certain golf ball that struck a certain person, so... think of what you will with that one. Right, thanks ever so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Laters.